Most New Zealanders would not be aware of the hidden agendas at play in the highest level of our government and the global corporations which control them. We are a captive audience. Only some 5 million people tucked away from the world's view on an island at the end of the earth. Easy prey to government propaganda and exploitation by the global corporations. Our government is aware of the severe adverse effects of the multitude of poisons spread so recklessly all over our country. They've been told, yet they keep ignoring the science and the protest of the people, which substantiates the insinuation that our people are like the lab rats of this world. New Zealand has become a country where freedom of speech and democratic rights become null and void for anyone who challenges our government's course on the fast track of rampant exploitation, pollution, and destruction. This is manifested by the fact that we don't have a constitution which enshrines our most basic human rights, such as the right to health and freedom of speech. It conveniently allows our government to change and tailor the laws and regulations to facilitate the exploitation of our natural resources by multinational corporations, which is clearly demonstrated in the already mentioned Fast Track Act. Information flow is controlled by the industries which control the government. Journalists, researchers, scientists, and educators are gagged by employment contracts. When anything which does not conform to the government's narrative will predictably attract censorship, silencing, sidelining, defamation, and retribution, and is labeled as conspiracy theory, when activists are publicly insulted.
Actually, they are a malevolent, development-hating tapeworm, otherwise known as Greenpeace.
Or receive death threats.
We got a lot of abuse, we got a lot of threats, a lot of death threats. I've had death threats right throughout my 30 years working for animals.
When the outcomes of public consultations and reviews of policies seem to always be predetermined and are nothing but a farce. When speaking the truth gets twisted into a breach of confidentiality and loyalty clauses in work contracts, and the truth becomes a career-limiting factor. When scientists acting with integrity become the target of harassment and threats, and science is degenerated to prostitute itself as marketers of the industries.
Anybody who tries to study the etiology, the origins, the causes of chronic disease, that scientist will be blackballed forever. There's very little science that says high fructose corn syrup causes diabetes. That's deliberate. We don't have that science because the agency does not want to see that science.
It can be said that we live in a totalitarian state, which is despotically controlled by the biggest destroyers and polluters. New Zealand has the climate to grow everything we could possibly need. In subtropical Northland, even coffee. What we can't grow, we could buy from our cousins in Australia. Yet much of our food is imported from the other side of the planet. Instead of spending over $138 million per year on the world's biggest and most dangerous poison operation, our government could be investing in humane, non-toxic animal contraceptives for the control of unwanted animal species, as successfully trialed in the US and Canada. These millions of dollars thrown at bogus conservation campaigns could be subsidizing our farmers to convert to regenerative farming practices and to diversify into sustainably grown plant crops. We could become self-sufficient in supplying the people of our country with fresh, healthy, organic, and affordable food, and at the same time aiming for premium prices for premium organic products on the global market. How does this toxic warfare in New Zealand affect you in other parts of this world, you may ask? Well, greenhouse gas emissions and toxic pesticides don't know boundaries. The severe negative impacts on the global climate through intensive, unsustainable farming practices, the climate mitigation scam, the thousands of acres of poisoned and bare ground along all our highways and country roads which don't sequester carbon, but radiate heat into the atmosphere and leach toxins into the waterways. affect every part of our home planet and the atmosphere around us. Since the bastardized predator-free New Zealand program was adopted by our government in 2016, the amount of the deadly 1080 poison used in aerial drops has been significantly increased. And with that, the likelihood of accidental exposure and 1080 ending up in the food chain of humans. Tourists coming to visit our idyllic-looking national parks are in danger of being subjected to lethal or sub-lethal doses of 1080. Especially hunters take the risk of ingesting 1080 in game meat. Traces of this Class 1 poison could be in any food imported from New Zealand to your country if your government is not diligent in testing for 1080 and its metabolite. Everywhere you are in New Zealand's public places, streets, parks, country roads or hiking tracks, and in picnic areas, the vegetation could have been recently sprayed with toxic herbicides. You could be driving in the wake of a spraying vehicle and inhale the mist and vapors. This may not cause immediate symptoms, although headaches, sore throat, itchy eyes, tingling lips, painful lymph glands, and skin rashes are common. But this exposure will add to the toxin load we all carry in us, eventually causing you severe health issues, such as cancer and neurodegenerative disease in years to come. Or your life could change in an instant if you jump into a lake that has recently been treated with the aquatic weed killer, dicot. It is high time to turn this around so we can evolve into the right direction. New Zealand can become a truly clean and green nation. We need to break free from this lethal addiction to toxic pesticides. But for this to happen, we Kiwis need your help, the help of the global community. Together, we hold the ultimate power in this world, our consumer power. Together, we can turn this around. Made in clean, green, 100% pure New Zealand. Just don't buy it. The New Zealand government needs to live up to our global responsibility and walk their talk for the climate, for planet Earth, and all that inhabits her. But in order to move forward, we first need to acknowledge the truth. Stop poisoning our country. Stop poisoning planet Earth. Stop lying.
It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the